Good morning and welcome to the Insight. Today on the Insight, we'll be having a dialogue with a Nigerian student based on students' welfare. We are having a special guest on the studio today, Comrade Kenechukwu Aneke, who is the NANS National Vice President, External Affairs. Comrade Kenechukwu, it's a pleasure to have you on the studio today.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Today we were discussing welfare, and I will toe a certain lines in this discussion because for me it's all about welfareism, the body as a whole, what is doing. So my first question to you, Mr. Kenechukwu, will be, what is NAS actually doing now apart from protest?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Nigerian, and thank you, Nigerian students, which we represent. NANS, as it were, people usually see NANS as a body or an association who are mainly for protest and counter protest and what have you. But now, NANS is an intellectual body. NANS.
Sorry, come again. NANS is an intellectual body.
Body,
Please, can you explain that?
What I mean that NANS is an intellectual body. NANS is full of like intellectuals, students who are out for agitation. Yeah, we agitate for student welfareism. Yeah, we ask for the right of students.
Okay.
We take care of students. We hear their yearnings and all what they the issue they face in various schools, be it national and internationally.
Okay. So you're telling us that NANS is now made up of intellectuals.
Intellectuals,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're telling me that there are no rascals in NANS any longer.
no,
All those rascalism is gone.
No.
All right.
We are leaders.
You're now leaders or leaders of tomorrow.
No, leaders of now.
You're leaders of now.
Yes.
That's interesting. Now that we are talking about rights of students' welfare, Mr. Kenechukwu, I'll be sorry, but I'll be more direct. I want to know, what is NAN's position talking about student loans by this present administration?
Well, without not being campaigning for anyone.
No, feel free.
I want to tell you that the present administration of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current dispensation of this administration, I think the president has done what I think no president in most recent time has done.
Okay.
From Nigerian students.
Granted.
We owe him thanks. We owe him, all what it takes to say thanks and kudos to Mr. President for at least establishing NEL Fund.
Okay.
You know what NEL Fund is? Nigerian Education Loan Fund. So, he had bought, in fact, let's just be honest, the Nigerian students, we are all happy. We are all happy for Mr. President for establishing NEL Fund. Because now, the commoners, okay, let me just put the commoners, the average student of Nigeria could not probably complain of not having money. Maybe for the poor of the poorest can probably now go to school without looking at his or her back, that who will pay for me? Because federal government is out for all expenses. In fact, they even give stipend, monthly stipend.
Okay.
So now you can comfortably go to school without looking at back or without having my mom, my dad, I have a lead, maybe I'm an orphan and all of that. For the fact that you gain admission in any higher institution, public owned, not private. We don't mean private, public owned, tertiary institution, my dear, your school fees are, covered through the NEL Fund.
Okay.
And although it's a repairable, fund,
yes.
but you pay after 3 years of your graduation, maybe when you must have got getting job. If you have a job, then fine and good, you begin to pay an interest and the little scale of interest loan until you finish.
All right.
Then after 3 years, if you graduate after 3 years, you've not get you've not gained admission, you've not gained job in anywhere. What you need to do is that you write to the federal government or thereabout. You can put up an affidavit or thereabout to show you've not gotten job, because I think they have a database which they see and they monitor whoever that must have gained job or who has not gained job or thereabout. So that is it.
All
But the
right.
loan is a repayable loan, but it's a free and access loan that anyone can access.
All right. What you're trying to let us know now is that NANS as a body welcomes the NEL Fund, this development.
101%.
100%. Okay. Since you're in tune with the administration on that, and kudos to the government, this is the first time we're seeing something of that nature.
Very.
However, Mr. Kenechku, my next question will be, is NANS engaging the government to see that this loan, this fund is accessible and the process is transparent?
Yes, yes. Of course, I must be honest with you. As 2 weeks, ago, we were with the director and executive secretary of NELFund in
Okay.
Abuja. Yeah, before I
With the
got back
executive
to you.
secretary?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. With he's one in charge of NELFund.
Okay.
We were with him in his office, and in fact, let me be honest with you. The present NANS, led by His Excellency Olushola Ladoja, GCN, we call him Grand Commander of Nigerian Students. We went to meet with the director of NELFund because for the past 3 months now, we've been on campus tour. We've been on campus tour,
Okay.
and we started the campus tour from Southeast. In NANS, we have 6 zones. We have Zone A, Zone B, Zone C, Zone D, Zone E, and Zone F.
Yeah.
So NANS Southeast is Zone F. We started from Zone F. We went around the 5 states, with selected universities, Polytechnic, College of Education. We went around. Going around was just to ascertain the people, because here in Southeast, a lot of people had not, most of the students don't access the loan fund. Because one issue or the other, because in Southeast here, a lot of people feel like we are more or less independent. A lot of people don't want to access that loan. And we kept telling people, go forward, access this loan, because this loan belongs to each student. And the student we are talking about, Nigerian student, those ones schooling in Southeast, we're all Nigerians, and we should access this loan. But the skeptical nature of the Southeasterners, they'll say, no, we don't want this loan, we don't want this, we don't want that, we don't know why they introduced this loan. Do you understand that? But all Nigerians are all accessing the loan. Then we started, we hit the ground running from Southeast, going on campus tour, initiated by our president, which is the NANS president, Olushola Ladoja. So we went all around. Enugu was the last port of call while we were in Southeast. We were telling students, why don't you guys access this loan? This loan meant for Nigerian students. You guys should access it. When, the time comes for people, when you get job, you can pay. You begin to pay for the loan. That people are accessing it from north, west, south, and all of that. Why in Southeast? Southeast has a low turn. You understand what I'm saying? Southeast has a low turn. So we begin to preach. That was why, and that was mainly why we embarked on that very campus tour. And let me be honest with you, we achieved a lot during our time in Southeast. We begin to talk from, Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, Enugu. We begin to talk to them. So from there, we went to Northeast. From Northeast, we went to North Central. From North Central, then now the campaign, the tour, my president and few of our executive members, I would have been among them, but for the fact that I am in Enugu at the moment for an assignment, I happen not to be with them. But currently they are in South, which is Zone B of NANS. They're in South now, campaigning, going round. So we were in office of the director. That was last 2 weeks, like I said. We went there to give him a report. What we must have, gained, and what we found out within the 3 zonal, area we went: Southeast, North Central, and Northeast. So these 3 regions, we told him, the yearnings and what the students, the experience of the students. Most of them, they had issues, logging in to the website, how to register. Most of them complained about their money Do you understand? The money does not come at when due or thereabout. Maybe their stipend. Some of them complained that their school fees had already been paid before before grant, before they now register for the loan and all of that. But a lot has happened. So when you pay your school fees, maybe you borrowed your school fees and now borrow to repay. Waiting for, I don't know if you
Another one,
understand.
yes.
So a lot of stories, and some of them, still have it that the education trust fund loan is scam, but it's not scam. It's real. But sometimes, some of the students will always get agitated. Okay, hey, come on. One of their friends or their colleague, so when they get the alerts, they'll say, this loan not true. And some of them will say, okay, fine, let me, register. And when you register, you have to have a backlog of registrations or thereabout. They'll begin to attend it one after the other. So we were able to educate those students on how the loan are being, how they can access the loan and how the loan, operates. So that was most of the things we discussed with the director, and we there are some gray areas with which I wouldn't just begin to.
All right. Quite interestingly, this fund has no interest, right?
No,
Or is
zero,
zero
zero
interest.
interest. Yeah.
Now, I would want to ask, your tour of Eastern Nigeria, did it produce results?
Very,
Very.
very.
They are now
very.
participating?
Yeah.
And
At least through the director, they're having we are having a good number of southeasterners students registering,
okay, but
and we are still doing more
all right.
because I believe most of our students are following at the moment, so they
Okay.
still hear what I'm saying, and they will still go.
All right, but I want to ask, during your tour, what did you decipher or what did you find out that made them to be skeptical about applying for this loan? I mean, the Easterners now.
Generally, the Southeasterners, like I rightly say, we are independent. Sometimes we look back and say, okay, fine, that we have all what it takes to be, self-reliant. The self-reliant in an every Easterner will always like, hey, come on, why are we borrowing? That's why. That's why you could probably see some of our mothers those days. Your mother and some of our mother could probably sell their wrapper to train their child in school. Some of the parents will say, why would you go and borrow money, or maybe borrow, or maybe do access loan or thereabout, while we can squeeze out what we have. We can sell. Some persons sell land, some persons sell their wrappers, some persons sell their farm produce to make sure their kids and their wards get quality of education.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask, I told you I'll be direct in this conversation. I want to ask, does NANS collect dues from students?
Yes.
Okay, they still do.
There's what we call, at various schools, there's what we call SUG, Student
Yes.
Union Government. So Student Union Government collect dues. There's what we call SUG dues at the various, schools, So the dues are meant for the SUG president and his ESCOs to run the affairs of the school. And most time, the nuns, should, have a little from them. But, Nigerians, sometimes, they don't remit to the national body. They don't remit to the national body. And there's what we call capitation.
Okay.
Capitation is the due the universities pay for, the union, which is NANS and all of that. But, sometimes not all schools pay their dues. But in terms of, because NANS, we don't receive money from federal government. This is an association.
Okay.
National Association of Nigerian Students. We are not paid.
You
for
don't
anyone.
officially
We
receive money
don't-
from
no,
government.
Nobody, we don't. We are not paid. So through the derivation, the little one we drive from the school and from the student, the little we can, and maybe to our other means of getting money, the little save we save. That is just what,
All
like
right.
when you hear that some of us travel from here and there, it's from a little that we save.
Why I asked this question, I was leading me to somewhere else, because I wanted to ask, NANS as a body, is he involved in any direct support? Does he offer any direct support to indigent students, indigent members?
Does NANS
Yes,
offer
NANS as a body, yes.
support? Yes.
How?
You
What
mean
does he do?
financially and otherwise?
Yes.
Yeah, like my president. Being a president of Nigerian student is an enormous tax.
But that's from his personal pocket.
Yes.
Okay, but as
Yeah.
a body, there's no policy, there's no formulation to look at some of our members who no longer come back to school, who could no longer afford
Yeah,
education.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, we do that equally. We do that. Like when I begin to like NANS is a body that oversees the affairs of Nigerian students. We agitate. We ask for the right of Nigerian students. We pay. Like my president, he has paid for over how many? Because when I mean my president, he's the one in charge.
Yeah.
He's the one in charge. Some of us individually, as ESCO members, if I should probably tell you here categorically, I've paid for few, or I wouldn't mention name, JAM. You get some persons, they are not even yet students, but they're secondary school leavers. They'll call you, bros, see, you pay. Like, how much is jam? Jam, purchasing of jam. Some of us have been doing that. You need to encourage. We have to encourage. And most of these students call us on, daily basis. Leader, please, we need this. Leader, you give them small, tips and all of that. This is to encourage them. You're the leader, they say. Sometimes they can't not probably talk to the governor, they can't talk to this, they can't talk to all these high, political powered people. But we are the one that, the little we have, we offer. Like during our time, we were, in Southeast, some of our, we undertook some project. Like my president, there was a place we went to, Ebonyi, one of the campuses in Ebonyi. Our president promised to dug borehole.
Okay.
Yeah, we promised them to put a borehole because they complain about water and what have you. We were able to promise them, and the work is on, going at the moment. That's for Nigeria, National Association of Nigerian Student for you.
Right.
That's the president for you, because
right.
he had the human and he had the face. He has all what it takes to.
All right. Mr. Kenechukwu, you're the nance I'm seeing right now. So that's why a lot of my questions are so direct and all that. But Mr. Kenechukwu, or Comrade Kenechukwu, I want to ask, let me deviate a little. NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students, is it just for tertiary institution, or does he see to the welfare of those of our children in secondary school as well, or you don't care about those?
NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students. The studentship starts from the courage.
Okay.
From courage to nursery, from nursery or
tertiary institution,
primary, secondary, tertiary institution.
Even in your PhD as well.
Of course.
All right, that leads me to my next question. I want to know, recently there was the issues with JAM. I know, did you hear the story? And subsequently followed up with WAEC. I didn't read anywhere of NANS activism or involvement to see that this children issue was settled. And that's why I asked that question.
All right. My dear, NANS have been all, into these issues, more especially. Let me be honest with you. When the JAM, let me start from JAM. When the JAM issue occurred, when we had some issues with JAM, my president, if you could probably watch, if you probably watch through, or maybe watch more, at the onset of that brouhaha or whatever that happened within NANS, my president was, involved. In fact, we all involved. We went to Buhari Area Council at the headquarters of JAM. If you probably have the video clip or maybe the pictography, evidence of that, what happened on that very day, you saw that there's a guy, my president was the one seated before the Professor Ishak Oloide on that very, instant. My president was was in there, and some of us, we were the one that pressed on that why should this happen, why should this happen, why should this happen. On that very premise, the JAM registrar promised that he was going to do decisively, he was going to take very action. And of course he did. Of course he did. Then that was when we now noticed what happened, the infractions and what have you that happened. And let me be honest with you again. Most recent, that was last month. Yes, that was last month. Last month, on the 18th of last month, the JAM registrar had to, constitute what we call special education, special examination infraction. Yeah. Do you get that was a very committee he opened, special education committee, infraction. So I was the member of that very
Committee.
committee,
Okay.
led by Dr. Jack Epele, and you have eminent Nigerians on that very committee. Professor vice chancellors, professors, vice chancellors of schools. I wouldn't just want to,
All
we
right.
have about five, vice chancellors, security heads, intelligence, and media men, and all of that. So that committee, we were about 21 member
Member.
committee.
Okay.
My president nominated me among the nuns. I was we spent about 21 days to make up a report on what happened, and how people were manipulating the jam, how people were doing. There's something we call face blending, and a manner of things. Do you understand that? Fish,
Right.
face blending and finger blending and what have you. People were cheating. A lot of people were cheating to make jam. A lot of people.
Okay.
So we unraveled a lot, which I wouldn't just. I don't have. I
It's
think I
all
have
right.
no
It's
limits.
Mr. It's all
Time
right.
to
It's
speak
good to
on
know
that.
that Nance is involved at that level, and that was what I'm about to see.
Yes.
That it wasn't just at the tertiary level that you people are involved in the life of these younger students as well. However, moving on, let's go to the campus. There's been issues sometimes with welfare of students. Talk about accommodation, dilapidated accommodation, sometimes inadequate accommodation on campuses, where students are now forced to, or to be at the mercy of landlords of campus. Is there any advocacy or anything Nancy is doing in that regard?
Yes, of course. Remember that most of the schools have hostels. And once you're not, like, if you're a student and you're not absorbed into the school hostels or thereabout, if you go off camp to rent an apartment, or probably your parent goes, because sometimes most parents will say, hey, come on, we don't want our child to be in school hostel and all of
Yes.
that. So once you're out of the hostel, we don't, we
Okay.
don't
Nance doesn't
merely,
interfere.
we don't
But these are your
interfere.
members.
No, they are members, but remember, you are in off camp.
Okay.
You're an off campus. It's just like if you're in your parent house coming to school, and something happens, happen in your parent house, would Nance, kind of maybe interfere on your family, affair or thereabout. What we see and what we do is, the student within the campuses.
Okay. So what do you do for them?
What we do is that some of us, nuns, we go direct to schools, to the any maybe most of the schools that doesn't have good infrastructure. We go, we talk to them, we talk to the vice chancellor. From the vice chancellor, we have all what it takes to meet with the pro chancellor or thereabout, maybe as the case might be. If it's maybe probably a state university, which you see the governor, which the governor is the visitor, we can probably still sometimes we write to the governors, who are the visitors of the various state institutions, high institutions, and you see them coming up to it during our campus tour within the southeast and two other regions. We made some recommendations, we made some inquiries. Even when we had to meet, there was a university building we met, and we thought it was the school, the school owned project. They told us no, it was an individual. I wouldn't want to mention name of the very person. Is a high person, but the school, or rather the building, is uncompleted building, and a lot of activities were going on, and the SUG of that very school complained to us that this is that. Sometimes you see some criminals will hit on that, the building, and we wrote to the management, and the management now told us that they are not the one in charge of that building. Although the building was a kind of a gift, through a so individual, that the individual promised to build, but at a point it seemed that the individual had issue with the contractor whom he contracted the building job. So we now wrote to the person. So we are still ongoing with the matter with the person, because we need the person to finish it up, because a lot of activities have been going on that very building. So that's to tell you what the NAN stands for and what we are doing
All
at
right.
the various campuses.
All right, Mr. Kenchko, on that note, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue to probe on these issues.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obo Obina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
All right, thank you for staying with us on the Insight. We're still talking with Comrade Kenechukwu Aneke, NANS National Vice President, External Affairs. And this is a conversation with him on students' welfare. Mr. Kenechukwu, it's been wonderful speaking to you.
Thank you.
Now, we're talking about accommodation on campus, and you were letting us know what NANS is doing in that regard. However, let's look at security on campus. We've had instances where students were raped, students killed, a lot of, activities, a lot of security issues on campus and sometimes off campus as well. So how is NANS involved? What's NANS advocacy and engagement concerning security on campus?
Well, another, security is threat all over, the globe, not only, limited to Africa, Nigeria, maybe to our various campuses. And NANS, we've been up and doing. We've been following, up to all our students in various institutions at the public and private institutions here. I remember about 2 months or about 3 months ago, we were in Niger. From Abuja, we rolled to Niger when we had issues at one of our, campuses in Niger State. We went to Niger decisively. The president, NANS president, and us, some of the escorts. We went there to arrest the situation because at a point, the school was shut down out of the security threat. We went there, we spoke with the vice chancellor, we met with the emir of that very jurisdiction, we met with all the relevant stakeholders to plead and to make sure that Nigerian students, go back to school. And, let me be honest with you, we really made progress with that. And we had issues around Ibariam campuses, and also equally in
Ibariam is in Anambra State?
Anambra, yes.
Okay.
We have, issues there. Our coordinator, NANS, like I said, NANS is a broad moment, like we have from, bottom-top approach. From, NANS, you have at the school level,
SUG level,
at the cost rep level, at the cost level, you meet at the departmental president. From departmental president, you meet to faculty president. From the faculty president, you meet to the SUG president. Okay. From the SUG, then you now come to the states. Like, let me use Enugu as a case study now. In Enugu, we have what we call joint campus committee, which is JCC Enugu campus, who is the leader of all the students and the SUJ presidents in Enugu, which is the JCC chairman.
Okay.
He's the one that directly reports to the coordinator. At the zonal level, we have coordinator. So zone F coordinator, which is Southeast. From Southeast here, you now, from the zonal arrangement, you now have national body. So
Okay.
you complain from this, that is, we have a chain of command.
All right.
So what happened in Anambra sometime, it was the coordinator that managed the affair. We some of us, they called, and I called the coordinator, and coordinator gave me, okay, he said, okay, fine, see what happened, see what I was able to, because as a national officer, I am the one who oversees the affairs at the national level of any student in Southeast. You're clear. I am. So what when they complain to me, who I'll complain, or rather who I will talk to, is the coordinator. Then if it's something that happens to do within the state level, the coordinator will now place calls on the various JCC chairmen. If it's something that has to do on campuses, the JCC will now place call on SUG presidents. If it's something that happens to do with the classes and what have you, okay, the SUG will call upon the course rep or departmental or faculty presidents, as the case might be. So what happened in Anambra, issue, to God be the glory that the coordinator, he was able to, arrest the situation, and we have anomalies in that very campus.
Okay, that's good. All right, moving forward, let's look at how you engage with government agencies, especially concerning in the area of educational policies, to see to it that the policies are student-oriented and impact positively on students.
That is, a very straight one.
Okay.
In NANS, we have all what it takes. We have the mechanism. We meet, we negotiate, we talk, because all these things has to do with negotiation. It had to do with talk. It had to do with, a kind of a physical meets and meetings. We've been, doing this, like, most of these agencies, like JAMB. JAMB is one of the agencies in educational sector.
Okay.
We usually intermittently meet with the JAMB, body, the JAMB director. We meet with the NUC. We meet with the sometime we were with the CEO and director of board technical education, which is NAPTIP and all that. So we always interface with these agencies and ministries. Most time we were with the Minister of Education. Yeah, we were with him few weeks ago. So most time you see us, dialoguing and see this, see that, and there was something we heard sometime, but we still have it as a news that is not yet, widely being, circulated or thereabout. So to some of us, we still have it as a fake news that they said that each Nigerian, at the secondary school level, that at the curriculum, that I don't know if you've heard about that, Chinese language, or rather, not a Chinese language should be, will be a thing of a mandatory to all our schools and all our the secondary school and primary school level. I think that has not been widely,
it's not in circulation.
It's not in circulation yet. So that is still another something that we have to discuss. We have to discuss in fact, we are going to take it decisive when if that happens, but we still take it like a fake news. When that happens, if it happens to get to that a federal government, they said that federal government would, I don't want to say much about that, but how can federal government ask the Nigerian students that we should go back and begin to learn how to speak, Chinese language? While we have, as our lingua franca, the English, which English, the Britain colonized Nigeria. That was just why we pick up the language.
And we are still learning.
And we are still learning the English language.
Okay.
And you want us to, you want to burden, I don't know. That has not. I'm not sure
until that becomes a policy.
That becomes a policy.
Okay.
We now begin, we begin to deal with that.
Mr. Kenechko, that takes me to my next line of action. Do you engage with Nigerian students in diaspora at all?
Yes, of course, I do. On daily basis. Remember that Kenechukwu is the NANS vice president on external affairs.
And that's why I'm asking you that question.
Yes, on external affairs. So I have the mandate of Nigerian, students, and I oversee, the numerous, very, very, very numerous students, of Nigerian, descent and origin schooling and abroad.
So
I interact with them.
okay, how do you
on
get?
daily
How do you amplify their voices? How do you get their voices heard?
At the level of NANS, we have all these tools and mechanisms which we, interact and which we agitate, and we oversee the affairs of Nigerian students. Okay, let me be honest with you. As at last month, I was in Angola.
Okay.
I went to Luanda, Angola. Yes, I went for an international youth day celebration, and equally, we were able to, oversee the affairs of few of Nigerian students schooling in, Angola, because we have fewer students, when I mean fewer students, the very tiny student schooling in Angola. I was able to, interact with them. That journey was not, I didn't go alone. Yeah, I went with Nigeria, NANS president and few other persons. But, as the vice president external affairs, that's my,
Use your area of jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's my jurisdiction and all of that. So we spoke with few of them at the course of our, stay at Angola. And of course, we'll be heading to Ghana. Okay. We'll be heading to Ghana by the 30th of this month. Yeah, we'll be going for an election. Yeah, to elect the president of all African students. Okay. That election will be between the 30th and 4th of next month, between 30th of this month to next month. Right. And of course, by next month, I'll be heading to Uganda. Okay. So we have a series of. I would have been in UK. If I had gotten my passport ready, before last two weeks ago, because Nigeria, we have what we call National Association of Nigerian Student Diaspora.
Yes.
And we have a diasporan chapter of it, and we have the people who takes care of, Nigerian, of course, I oversee, to their affairs. So they are under my, my supervision and all of that. They invited me, because they celebrated an international student, symposium and all of that. I was invited, although I had, little issue about the travel document and all of, because I started it late though, and I was unable to have what we call. Okay, let me not divulge into that.
Okay.
So in taking care of Nigerian students, or listening to them, attending to their yearnings and their quest and their aspiration or thereabout, is something we do. And internet has made things very easy, for us to interact. Okay. Sometimes we engage through Zoom calls, through Google Meet, and what have you. So, like, was it last week? Yeah, I had some, meetings, with few of the students abroad, in one or two issues, which, by the special grace of God, our meeting, we had a very successful one, and things are, normal.
All right. Beyond that, do you engage with embassies, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigerian Diaspora Commission, yeah, to see to it about a lot of issues that for our foreign students face, like delays in financial aid and scholarship, and talk about even remitting finances from Nigeria for students abroad and all that?
We do. Okay. I think I'll be having some meeting with our dear Abike Dabere.
NIDCOM.
Yeah, the NIDCOM chairman and director. I think I'll be, one of these days. I think we've written to the board that we would want to engage with them, because ever since I emerged, I think we've been busy. Okay. We've been busy, but I'll be meeting with equally the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We'll be meeting, in subsequent weeks. We've written to most of these ministries. We were with the ambassador. Ambassador of Angola. That was even when we had to meet with him, and we spoke, extensively regards to our traveling, our traveling to Angola, and with few other ambassadors. We've written to most of them, so we're all waiting for the dates and feedback. So we've been doing that. But at the level of Nigerian students schooling abroad, we've been talking to them, the ones schooling in US, UK, Philippines, Australia, Austria, South Africa, Ghana, and Guinea, and we've been speaking with a number of them.
All right. On that note, we've been speaking with Comrade Kenechukwu Aneke, NANS National Vice President, External Affairs. Mr. Kenechukwu, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.
So, on this note, this is where we'll draw the curtain on today's show on The Insight. But remember, your voice matters on The Insight. And do not forget to reach us with the hashtag The Insight on our social media handles at Aneke TV on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And remember, if there are issues or questions you would want us to throw to NANS, or topics that you want us to headline that will need to x-ray and then give a post-mortem analysis, send them in. We will deal with them as they come. Your voice matters. Until we come your way, same time tomorrow. I remain your host, Uche Osai. Sorry, I forgot something. Before I let you go, this is not normal usually, but because we're having NANS Vice President External Affairs, I will give him this honor. Yes. Mr. Comrade Kenechukwu, there's something you wanted to tell.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was just a follow-up to what really happened. I told you, there was a time I was, what happened at the JAM, which is the Special Committee on Education Infraction, which is SECI, SCEI. So education, Special Committee on Education Infraction. So that was just the committee, set up by the Professor Ishak Oloide, the JAM registrar, which I, at the committee, a very wonderful Nigerian, very numerous Nigerian. We were headed by the committee. Were headed by Dr. Jack Apele. So we did very wonderful, and the committee is at the public, and people have been commenting, a lot of interviews on radio, on television, and the print media have been ongoing. We've been campaigning seriously against parents, against parents influencing their children, because over 80% of the cheats and what have you are being driven by the parent paying for their kids and the words, for them to make a good grade in JAM and all that. So which we want to discourage that. We want to discourage that in a very 0%, that parents should allow their children to, do and become what they want to, not to influence, on their,
results,
education, results and what have you.
All right. You've heard from him. Remember, NANS, they always insist on having their ways, and thank you for that clarification, Comrade Kenechukwu Aneke, NANS National Vice President, External Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right.